So I realized recently I haven't been keeping up with my promise to film more stuff for YouTube. One thing I've done is I sorted out getting a new phone. I need to get a new phone. The other phone was dying, had no storage, and it was becoming a pain in the ass. So got a new phone, has twice the amount of storage that the last one did, but not the max amount. But it's gonna do for now. So what we're gonna talk about is Dimension 20. So, as I've said to multiple people several times, I have not played D&D yet. I haven't had a chance to go at a campaign, but I have all the stories. I even recently got cards. I got like a ranger deck and some other sort of spell cards and other sort of things for when I do eventually start to play. I was like, yeah, fuck it, let's go. What led to all of this was a show called Fantasy High from Dimension 20 from Dropout TV. This is something I can watch. This is something that got me into it. And I was like, oh wow, this actually looks like a lot more like fun. The way I think maybe social media or the media in general had shown how a lot of that went was not really that appealing to me. So I was like, not really up for it. But after watching Brendan Lee Mulligan and the Intrepid Heroes, I was like, you know what? This actually looks like a lot of fun. It looks like a lot of fun, so I really want to get involved. I really want to play a game. A lot of my friends have been playing D&D for years, and I was like, Now I'm like, what do I want to? And a lot of them have stopped, which is really disheartening. Anyway, the big thing that happened about over a month ago now, I think. It's been about a month. The lads from Dimension 20 came to Dublin and had a live game of D&D, which was a lot of fun. What I loved about it though was that the tickets went on sale, I think, back in September. Myself, Una, our friend Zoe and Paul and a bunch of others were trying to get tickets. Una, she went to bat for us to get tickets, so much so that we got the VIP tickets, which was a lot of fun. We got to go to like a live show afterwards, which was class. We got to like get in before people, which was good. I was really, really happy we got to go. One of the things that we said though is that we were going to cosplay. Una wanted to cosplay as Fig. I said, you know what? I want to do Gorgug. Let's do Gorgug. Gorgug would be a lot of fun. Gorgug isn't a difficult cosplay as far as like making, right? Grey hoodie, green skin. You know, you can do tusks if you want. I didn't want to. I didn't want to put on fangs. I needed a battle axe. There were two ways to go about it. Well, technically three. One way would have been I could have gone online and bought an axe. And whether it be a real steel axe, which would not have swung, or a big foam one, which would have been fine. The other option was to make one from scratch. As ambitious as I am, I know I'm not that good yet. So became option number 3, which was a bit of both. The bit of both was I would get this axe, this kind of handcrafted one. It had more of a head of a hatchet than an axe. So I was like, okay, we'll get this and we'll add on. So I have some foam. I sketched out a rough angle of what way I wanted the head of the axe to look. Double-sided, overlaid it, cut this shape out. I was like, right, cool, let's glue it together. When you're using foam, you use contact adhesive. The thing though, and this is hopefully a tip that other people can use so they don't make the same mistake I did, you have to double-side it, and you have to put it on the thing you are putting it onto, as in, you put it here on the foam, here on the axe part. You gotta give it a minute. You gotta give it a minute to like set and then hold it together. What I had done was put it here, slap, and then it fell apart. It left a residue. It left a residue because by the time it did fall off and it hardened, I couldn't get it off. So I said, okay, look, to save myself the foam, we're gonna flip it and put it on the other side. We did it properly. We even got clamps. Brilliant. Cool. Now I got all this residue on both sides of this axe. What am I going to do? And I said, we're going to paint over it. When it came time to actually painting it, I didn't actually start painting it until like a few days before we went up. So I was really leaving it tight. So I got into a Warhammer store, I got some paints, I got some adhesive filler, and I was like, okay, cool, used it, painted over the residue completely, and then touched it up again with some red to make it look like blood. And I was like, perfect, this works. I got everything else sorted. I had the big grey hoodie. I got some bracers from Kaizoku-kan, and I went, okay, this looks like it can come together. It will look good. Getting it on the bus was funny. Getting into town was funny, because here I am holding this axe. Here I am holding my bags, wandering around town over the shoulder, no problem. We go to the bus. First thing I say to Una, this is not going underneath the bus. It will snap. Thankfully, it didn't happen. We threw our stuff onto the bus and we went in. We were talking about other campaigns, Critical Role, all these other groups talk about Baldur's Gate. It was a good time. We had a good laugh. As soon as we get into Dublin, we started wandering around. We got some food and we met up with Zoe. We chatted for a bit. Apparently Siobhan was around, which was really cool. I had taken photos outside of the venue, which I was like, oh my god, imagine if we ran into him. And anyone's going to get spotted, it's going to be me because of the axe, which I thought was kind of funny. We eventually got to our room and we started getting ourselves ready. Again, the idea of having to get myself dressed up to go to this event was funny. I was like, oh. But a part of me was kind of getting insecure a bit, because I was like, oh, what if people don't get it? What if people don't understand what I'm doing? What if I'm the only person cosplaying? Because that could happen. You never know. Or they might think I'm cringe, which again, like, let's be fair, could be. But what happened was we got ready, we went down, we met up with our friends, got some food, and then we went to the event. And when I tell you, lads, I got such a good reaction for being Gorgug. I was delighted. The way the queue had gone, right? The start of the queue was kind of here. We went straight down an alleyway, across the way, and it was going down another road by the time we got there. So I was like, okay. But as we were going down, there was like, Gorjudge and all this other stuff, and people were like, oh my god, you look so cool, you look amazing. I was like, and I think the reason they hit different was because I made the axe, and a lot of people were complimenting the axe. I had security come up at one point and touch it because I wanted to make sure it wasn't real. So as someone who doesn't make cosplays, that makes me feel good. Makes me want to keep making cosplay. I really shouldn't do that. I always give up when people do that. It was really cool. I saw a Liam cosplayer from A Crown of Candy. I had seen a few other people, and like a lot of people were like, "Oh my god, you look so cool." I had a few people wanting to get a photo with me. And again, like, I'm used to this at conventions. It's another thing when I'm going to an event like this. I was trying so hard not to be like, oh my god, I feel so important. But like, you know, man, sometimes you don't get told enough that you look good. And even if you have to dress up like, you gotta dress up like a fictional character to be told that, then maybe, you know, that's more of a societal problem than a me problem. But anyway, we eventually get in. Unfortunately, we had separate seats. She was like 2 rows ahead of me, which wasn't a big deal for me. I would rather have sat with my friend, but it was more of it is what it is. Sit down, chill out, watch the show. I had to actively stop myself from looking at the big screen behind Brendan because I wanted to watch people's reactions live, like not from like a TV screen. Good show, got to halftime, went to get some food. I remember a couple of times people had stopped me and they were like, this is like the best thing. I love this. I had one person say that my friends and I were watching you from across the way and we think this is amazing. And I was like, oh my god, thank you so much. I had one person ask for a photo and she was like, you are like the coolest person here. And I went, I have friends downstairs who are 10 times cooler than me, you know? So like, thank you. We went through the whole campaign. It was a good show. It was good reaction from everybody, which I thought was great. Una was telling me that apparently there was one guy a couple of times trying to like rules boss the cast. Is like, lad, we've got like 2-3 hours of this. Like, don't be correcting them. It's their show. Let them do it. And it's improv. Like, fuck it. People make mistakes. But it was grand. So when that was all done, we got to go downstairs for the Q&A. That's what the VIP people got to do, which was great. I got pointed out directly by Brendan and by Zach, and I got to shout up at Zach, "Are you my dad? Are you my freaking dad?" You know, like, to me, that meant a lot. You know, not necessarily like that other people weren't pointed out, because there was someone who had a child who was baby from Fantasy High, and I was like, that's kind of dope. For me, I was like, I got what I wanted when I went. I got to be seen. I got to be spotted. Because that was the whole reason I wanted to be Gorgug. I wanted to ask Zach, is he my dad? Because that's Gorgug's whole shtick in his first season. Who's my dad? I got to do that, and I was very happy with that. Questions were very good. Hearing the answers were really good. And again, as someone who's still getting into, still trying to figure his way out through D&D, through the likes of Baldur's Gate, through Fantasy High, through other stuff, it was good to see. It was good to watch. I remember when we got out, though, we were hanging. Like, I think the adrenaline kind of like finally killed over. I got some merch. I got a tote bag, and I got a t-shirt, which I was like, I was barely having any money to begin with, but I wanted something to remember being there. So I was able to get a tote bag. I was able to get a shirt. Getting back to the hotel was a lot easier than we expected. Again, when one of you is kind of like a punk rock girl and the other one is green, you expect a bit of trouble. We didn't get any, which is great. I'd rather it stay that way. In the morning, I needed to catch up on a few episodes of Fantasy High. I caught up on them. It was grand. Una had an audition the following day. I had a job interview, and then I got to go around town by myself, which was a lot of fun. And we were hanging around Dublin for a few extra days because we were going to Brendan's show Bigger, I believe it was called, in the Academy. Had never been to the Academy before, so that was a new one. We got to see a live impromptu show, which was great, and I really enjoyed it. It was funny at points where, so they had Brendan, Izzy, Ali, two other people I didn't know, technically three other people I didn't know, but one of them was an Irish lad, and one was an Irish girl, and it was, the girl was like, being basically like an improv like tool. Like, she asked for a scene, she tells us a bit about her life, and that gives the cast a chance to kind of like bring up antidotes for their skits and their sketches. And what was really funny was they started doing one where they were calling the police and an Irish guard, and your man, who I don't know his name now off the top of my head, but he was just the funniest. He was the funniest of a lot of them. We were skitting laughing to the point where I don't even think Brendan and Izzy and the lads had a clue what was going on, and it was chef's kiss, phenomenal. We loved every minute of it. So remember getting out, I was lucky enough that a couple of friends were willing to give me a lift back to Cork rather than having to get on the bus, because if I was getting on the bus, I was going that quickly, and I didn't want to go that quickly. So the lads were sound for giving me a lift home. And yeah, it was a good time. It was a good crack. The fact that we had no real issues. I think it was only really at the end of the night where someone tried taking the axe off me, and it was just some drunk lad. And I remember he grabbed it, and I just felt a pull. And I remember I looked at him square in the eye with my fingers curled around the hilt of my axe. And he goes, "Go away, go of it." I went, "No." And he just kind of, "Oh, sorry," and went back off. But I was like, fucking try me, asshole. I haven't had a chance to do this all day. But it was a good time. I would say for anyone who's like who wants to get into D&D, or even is just looking for something to put on in the background while they're doing work, or something just to like get rid of brain fog, I highly recommend Fantasy High. You can find it on YouTube. A bunch of like I think the entire first season is still free on YouTube, so you don't have to pay for it. Dropout TV is equally cheapest streaming service, I believe, with the most content, but also the fact that it's quality content. I just really enjoy them. And mind you, I really should have my own account. I'm using Unis, but in fairness, she's using my Disney Plus, so I think it balances itself out. But yeah, I really enjoy it. And I think more people should get into D&D, not just because of Baldur's Gate, not just because of Critical Role. They should get into, because it's fucking fun, man. the idea of like you having this like relatively decent character, and you know, you're up against a big boss fight and you roll a natural 20 and you kill that fucker in one shot, like, fuck yeah. That sounds dope. I want to do that. I think that's funny just as much as like, oh, my character's been doing super well. He has to pass an athletics check to run across this rooftop, and he rolls a natural one and falls. And then he has to take fall damage, and the fall damage was bad, and now he's ripe for the picking. I think that's funny, and I think more people should like want to get into it. But I'm gonna leave that as the video because like I've been meaning to make this video for a while. I have a better means of making videos, so if I can get a better camera or like a microphone, because I have to look over this. If I look over this and the audio is crap, it will be a waste of 20 minutes. But fuck it, we'll figure it out. Anyway, I hope you guys are well. I hope you guys have had a good couple of days, a good couple of weeks since the last time I filmed. But yeah, if you want to find me anywhere, you can find me on here. You can find me on TikTok. You can find me on Instagram, all under The Last Known Renegade. Also, I'm a content creator with Dakota Irish. So if you do want to get into D&D and you do want to start with dice and whatever, go on to Dakota Irish, go onto their website, and when you're checking out your items, use the promo code The Last Known Renegade. You will get 10% off the order. Also, if you're in Ireland, on the day that you make the order, if you make it before 2 p.m, you will have your dice that day. So imagine, first thing in the morning, you see this video, you want some dice, do it before 2 p.m. and get it up there. All right? I hope you guys have a good day, good night, good afternoon, wherever the fuck you are. Best of luck.